Hello, my fellow YouTubers. This is Roy back again. Happy holidays. Let's take a walk. Already starting the Christmas wonderland. I had nothing to do with this except for I built all the wood is me. My wife did the lights. They're all programmable. Notice the bear in the back. He's hand carved, made out of a tree. Huge. Been towing him around. I think I paid $500 for him 13 years ago, 14 years ago, maybe 15 years ago by now. Just want to say happy holidays. Some exciting stuff going on. Digging deep into Ed Leedskalnin and his works. And part of his works, we're digging into electrostatic. We're going to focus on the wheel, the fact that it has different poles on the magnets facing outward, and the fact that it's referenced to a steel pole that goes in the ground. And the steel pole obviously is there for a reason. And the other things I would want to bring out to you guys to kind of show how east, west, north and south directional on our globe, where we stand at that point, matters in how current flows. And if you look at his picture of him holding the wheel, you could see that the pipe and the metal 1/4 inch by 2.5 inch flat steel, flat bar iron comes up and comes over like an angle. And something that I've just realized that is that angle of that iron is not only 90 degrees off from the top of the handle, it's also in perpendicular to east and west. Why does that matter? Because if you look at what is going on there, you can see that there's a north and south pass in iron. The iron has a elaborate setup inside of it that we'll go into, but for right now it has a iron core with a copper coil with the casing outside, which you see the iron tube is the casing, and then it has a flange on top, and it has a flange in the back of that flange, which you don't see in the picture, but you do see when you go to Coral Castle, that there was 2 glass jars there. So when you deal with electrostatics, that's what Ed was talking about with when he was researching into matter and atoms on his writings. And he talks about how they are still static until they are moved. You know, so cool stuff. Really getting into it, and I'm gonna bring it back out. And glad I don't really have any craziness going on right now, but listen in the background. So there's an owl right there setting the signal. And all the way back here, I'm turning around, will be another owl. Takes a long time for that other owl to answer back. It's amazing that owl in that direction over there is doing his hooty hoo hoo, and there's another one in that direction answering back pretty far away. I would have to say they're probably every bit of from the sound, and I'm not a soundologist, but I would say that they're every bit of 2 football fields apart. Maybe 4. I may be underestimating the sound carrying wave of these vibrations. All right. Well, peace out, my brothers. Hopefully you guys join in. You're going to see something amazing. What are we doing? Oh, so the ground is matter. Ed talks about matter. He talks about how the energy moves and what the energy is made up from, and that nobody knows what electricity really is. So we're digging in deep. How am I digging in deep? Well, one thing I do have is the wheel. Secondly, I have the pipe in the ground. I have an extensive 8-foot grounding rod pipe underneath it. So what I'm proposing here is we're going to step by step on video create what Ed says in his magnetic current and in his animal life and minerals pamphlet. He talks about the fact that the energy in the matter is static. And the static energy is not moving until Mother Nature makes it move. And by doing so is you could see how electrostatics and ground react. If you reverse the poles to where ground is the antenna and the air is the static through vibration, can show up anywhere. And by it showing up anywhere means that you're reversing the pole of electromagnetic waves, which are bound by the inverse square law. Inverse square law does not apply here because we're using the ground itself, which everybody on this planet is connected like a wire in the ground. So we're going that direction. Ed Leedskalnin's got some cool stuff here. And whether or not he did this, which I believe he did, I believe that he led me to think, to be able to come up with stuff based on matter being positive, negative. Everything is positive and negative. And basically you got plus, you got negative. So you got different things in directional. And by being directional, everything, whether it has a smaller or a bigger orbit, he talks about different stuff in his life and minerals and plants magazine is a little article there about how acid eats up a bigger orbit than itself because the atoms are smaller. So acid can be made up from oranges. Think about this. Acid can be made up from lemons. Acid can be made up from pineapples. There's acid in a lot of things. So what I'm getting at here is biologically by saying these things, lemons and limes and oranges, that it only takes something with a smaller orbit to consume something else. So you guys are going to love this, because using matter, flipping the poles to where the ground is the antenna. So we're connected everywhere. And now all we have to do is take the static, which is everywhere. The air I breathe, the air you breathe is static. Wind going by is a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different thing, you know. But it's the ether itself that's static, okay? The air we breathe is the wind going by, okay? The presence of everything that's here is static. What you do is you don't electromagnetically pulse. You just pulse the air. And from my house to anywhere out in Vermont, from Florida, we'll go out in the Midwest. The same presence of tension is going to show up and be across horizontally to the matter itself is going to appear. We'll get into this. At Leedskalnin, the best of the best. You guys have a great holiday. Talk to you later.